My dream home was always a log cabin nestled in the North Carolina mountains, surrounded by whispering pines, clean air, and the kind of freedom where no one nitpicks your mailbox height or parking spot. For my family, my wife Emily, and our 13-year-old son, Lucas, it was our escape from years of suffocating city apartments. The sprawling porch, the endless acres for Lucas to roam, neighbors waving like they meant it felt like we'd won the lottery. Emily snapped a photo of Lucas grinning on the porch, whispering, "I hope this lasts." I didn't say it, but I felt the same. Deep down, though, I knew perfection like that always hides a trap. We were still unpacking the moving truck when she appeared. Patricia Vance, mid-50s, dressed like she was auditioning for a CEO role, clutching a clipboard like a weapon. "Welcome to Pine Hollow," she declared, her smile sharp enough to cut glass. "I'm your HOA president." Something about her tone screamed trouble. Maybe it was my years installing security systems, but I've learned to spot control freaks, and Patricia was a walking red flag. She handed us a binder labeled Community Standards Manual, thick as a brick, packed with rules so petty they'd make your head spin. Mailbox height to the quarter-inch, paint colors straight out of a morgue, even guidelines on when to water plants or what curtains were street-appropriate. I flipped through it, thinking curtain rules? Really? Emily's glance over Patricia's shoulder said it all. What have we gotten ourselves into? We put up a basketball hoop for Lucas. The kid had been cooped up his whole life. He deserved to shoot hoops. 2 days later, a violation notice was slapped on our door like we were felons. Unauthorized recreational equipment in street view. Fine, $200. I wondered if I'd missed some fine print. When I called to dispute it, Patricia answered, her voice dripping with fake sweetness about preserving community standards. I tried to stay calm, but who wouldn't lose it over that nonsense? The next morning, the hoop was gone stolen overnight. A new note read, "Violation corrected. Fine doubled to $400. Someone had trespassed on our property and taken our kid's hoop." I stood there in my pajamas, staring at the empty spot, questioning reality. Lucas saw it, and his face fell, confusion and hurt in his eyes. That cut deeper than the fine. That night, Lucas whispered, "Dad, someone was watching our house last night. With binoculars." His fear hit me like a freight train. My kid was scared in his own home because some neighbor thought she ran a dictatorship. He described a figure across the street at midnight, watching for 20 minutes. I should have called the cops right then, but I convinced myself Patricia was just an overzealous busybody who'd back off. I was dead wrong. The notices kept coming like a twisted advent calendar. Grass a quarter-inch too long measured, it wasn't. A red welcome mat flagged for non-compliant color. A trash can out 3 minutes past pickup because I was half a minute late. I started documenting everything, not sure why, maybe hoping evidence would make this madness make sense. Patricia was watching our house more than we were living in it. One afternoon, while washing my car, I caught her across the street, arms crossed, staring like she was daring the house to break a rule. When our eyes locked, she didn't flinch, she waved, mocking me. The nerve was staggering. I wanted to confront her, but my security training said document, don't engage. At 2 a.m., I found a handwritten note in our mailbox. Non-compliant residents will be removed. The handwriting matched every notice. This wasn't just HOA nonsense, it was a threat. I dug into the community bylaws online and found a bombshell. Half of Patricia's rules weren't real. Mailbox heights, paint colors, grass standards invented them. An anonymous email pointed me to community forum archives. From 2019 to 2023, families reported identical harassment, escalating fines, nighttime intimidation, property theft, all left within 6 to 8 months. Patricia wasn't just controlling, she was driving people out. The latest notice demanded $800 for accumulated infractions, with a 48-hour deadline or legal enforcement action. I laughed at the absurdity, but it wasn't funny. Emily, drained, suggested paying to end the stress. "Maybe we just follow her rules," she said, her eyes heavy with defeat. Lucas started shutting his curtains nightly. Emily stopped unpacking. I wondered if we'd made a mistake moving here. But giving in felt like betraying every family Patricia had crushed. I wrote a formal letter citing the real bylaws, exposing her fake rules, and demanding a board meeting. I spent hours making it airtight, hoping she'd back down. Instead, She canceled the meeting and demanded $2,000 within 24 hours or sheriff's intervention. I called her, recording every word, and asked about this sheriff. After a tense silence, she snapped, "My cousin Mike handles security enforcement. He'll teach you compliance our way." She'd just admitted to planning fake law enforcement intimidation and tape. I upgraded our security: night vision cameras, motion sensors, audio capture. If Patricia wanted war, I'd be ready. Neighbors started shunning us. One whispered, "Pay the fines." Fighting her never ends well. A flyer in our mailbox, our address in bold, red, non-compliant residents create hostile environments. Then I found the real motive. Patricia's family construction company had secured every community repair contract for 5 years, charging 40% above market. She was forcing sales, creating maintenance issues, and profiting. This wasn't about control, it was a racket. At 1 a.m., our motion sensor screamed. Pounding shook our door. "Sheriff's Department. Open up. We have complaints." My pulse raced, but real cops don't show up at 1 a.m. 4 HOA violations. The cameras showed Mike in a cheap security uniform, a plastic badge gleaming like a toy, Patricia behind him with a flashlight and clipboard like a war general. "We're here to inspect violations and remove items," Mike barked. "Open the door, or we'll enter." I shouted, "Show us warrants and ID." Silence. They hadn't expected resistance. Emily was shaking, dialing 911. Lucas, awake, whispered, "Dad, are they real police?" I said, "No, son. Real cops don't threaten over hoops." Then Lucas grabbed his Nerf Blast-era realistic toy with flashing lights and sound effects. "I'm helping," he said, moving before I could stop him. Mike was shoving the door when Lucas cracked it open, aimed the blaster, and yelled, "Get off our property." He fired, the toy blasting pew pew pew, light strobing. Mike stumbled, his badge falling, revealing a Party City tag. Patricia screamed, and they fled, Mike tripping, Patricia's flashlight rolling into a ditch. It was absurd, but the threat was real. The footage was dynamite: Mike's fake badge, Patricia's signals, Lucas's stand, their retreat. I called for a board meeting, citing criminal activity. The community center was packed, tension thick. Patricia arrived with Mike, still in his laughable uniform, and spun a tale of us as violent residents who trained our son to attack volunteers. Some bought it. Then I played the footage. Gasps echoed as Mike's badge fell. Patricia's voice boomed from the call, and Mike confessed. The uniform was from my mall job. She paid me $200 to scare them. He admitted targeting others, forcing them out. The board suspended Patricia, calling the police. Patricia's PR team cried, "Deep fake." But the internet aided. A poor video went viral, remixed with circus music. A reporter uncovered her company's $200,000 in inflated contracts. 7 families shared identical stories of harassment and forced sales. The DA launched a fraud and impersonation probe, with the FBI eyeing racketeering. In court, Patricia's defense collapsed against our footage and Mike's testimony. Lucas's statement stunned the room. "She made us scared in our home. No one should have that power." The jury convicted her. 18 months in prison, $50,000 in restitution, permanent HOA ban. Our neighborhood changed overnight. A new president repealed Patricia's rules. We built a playground where the hoop stood, kids laughing freely. Lucas became a hero, teaching kids to stand tall. Patricia sold her mansion to pay restitution, her business tanked, and property values soared. Our fight sparked HOA reforms across 3 counties. Watching Lucas lead a water battle with his gadgets, Emily said, "He really fired back that night." I smiled, thinking how a kid with a toy gun toppled a tyrant. If you're facing a bully, document everything, find allies, and stand firm. Sometimes, a Nerf blaster and the truth can change it all. Share your stories below. I read them all. Hit like, and if you want to support, there's a thanks button. Stay bold, stay loud, and never underestimate a kid with foam darts.